Rise and shine, guys. It's morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. Today, what are we doing? We are actually making fruits. Yep, I'm going to make some juice. I got a blender and all kinds of stuff, so I want us to make some juice this morning because we want to be healthy, we want to live a healthy lifestyle. So this morning, I've got a cucumber. I hear Nigerians saying cucumber. So I have a cucumber and I have some oranges. And I have a very super ripe pineapple. And I have a huge watermelon. I'm going to take 2 ripe bananas. See this gigantic ginger? Yeah, I'm going to take a little piece of ginger. It's important to live a healthy lifestyle. And it's not easy. It takes sacrifice to wake up early in the morning, make yourself some juice. So I got this container here. These containers here for porridge, for juice. You know, when you're making juice, you've got to be super, super clean. I got fresh water here, yeah, which I'm going to use to rinse out the pitcher and the lid. Yeah. Mom is now back from the hospital. My experience with the hospital here in Kenya, she was seen by very, very good doctors. I mean, really. One thing I can say about Kenya is I'm super proud of the doctors here because you see they work with so little and they are so innovative. One of the advantages of being in a country like this one with young people is that then you have young doctors, yeah, who are very innovative and they love technology. Kenyans absolutely love technology. We have adapted technology. First of all, we try to look for what's positive before we look for what's negative. Yeah. A lot of people believe that digital IDs are for control. Yes, they can use them to control you, but you're not completely helpless when it comes to digital IDs, you know. It doesn't mean that because somebody has all your information digitally that they're going to control every single thing about your life. No, it doesn't, because there will always be that aspect of you that is not being monitored, that they cannot monitor. There is AI that can monitor you. That is, if you carry many of your digital things around you. It's only if they implant it in your body. Now that's something else, you know. But what we do here in Kenya is we tend to embrace technology as much as possible. We also know the perils of technology. My mom had surgery on her knee. And we're so happy that she had it because we never would have known what was wrong with her. We never would have understood that my mom was really, really, really suffering. She really was suffering, actually. Because we thought it was, you see somebody with a swollen knee, you can't believe I'm doing a balancing act over here. I put it on top of a toaster and the toaster is on top of a pot. I'm that desperate. So dark. Yeah. So now, you look at somebody who has, the way my mom has been suffering, you guys have been seeing me working on my mom's knee, yeah? Trying to help to reduce the swelling on her knee. Well, we thought it was arthritis, either arthritis or septic arthritis. And so she was on antibiotics and she was on almost antifungals. And then we thought, you know, the only thing that used to work for her was a compress. We used to heat up water and compress her knee, and she would get some relief. At least she would get some relief. But still, she would still be in pain soon after that. So what did they find out when they went in with the camera? They did a non-invasive what do they call it? Non-invasive procedure anyway. Using, I think it's laparoscopy. Laparoscopy procedure, non-invasive, yeah? On her. Yeah, so this is the ginger. This is how I'm cutting it in little tiny slices. Put it in here. Yep. So, we discovered that the problem was actually that she had a tear in her ligaments, you know, in the knee, in those knee ligaments, there was a tear. And that would not have been fixable without surgery. And my mom went under surgery. Guys, at this age, can you imagine going for surgery A lot of us are so afraid of people going for surgery, with general anesthetic. Anyway, they use that non-invasive procedure where they just poke holes, put a camera, they even videotaped it. It was a non-invasive procedure. She recovered in Paka. She was running around the hospital. We're like, what? What's going on? Look at these things, people. So annoying. These are some of the things that irritate me to death. But anyway. Yeah, so the woman was running around. She was comfortable with she healed so fast. We just could not believe how quickly my mother healed. Like she's walking around, she's not even using her cane. So if you see the elderly suffering and with sticks, you might be surprised that they actually have a tear. Yeah? These oranges are juicy. If I was doing this for, like for a client or something, I would wear gloves just because of hygiene. A bit noisy, yeah. So there we have our juice. Yeah. So we were really, really impressed with the hospital, with the doctors. Really impressed. But it's not easy. It's not easy to make that decision to put your parent through what? Surgery. So I'm talking about AI and I'm talking about surgery. Why are they related? They are quite related. AI and surgery is related because it looks like just like what happened with my dad, the way that he swallowed a camera to check, instead of having invasive procedures. My dad swallowed a little pill-like looking thing, which was actually a camera that went taking photographs of his colon, to check what was wrong. And I was really impressed. Same thing happening, at the hospital. Let's peel the cucumber. You can use you can either use a peeler or just use a knife. Doesn't matter. If you're old school like us, you just use knives. Yeah, so guys, this is what I was saying, that technology has helped us to reduce the suffering of patients. And AI is part of all of that. So when you're using cucumber, by the way, guys, you need to, I myself don't have to, but tend to remove the inside. I don't want the seeds. I don't want the cucumber seeds. So I'll split it in half and remove the inside seeds, the inside part. So like I was saying, I prefer to work with doctors who are ready to apply technology and also read up and use AI to help them. Because by the way, now AI can help us in many ways, even for myself in my own work. What I used to know before, what I used to do before, I've had to adapt. I've had to also put through the test with AI. Because you discover AI knows so much more than we know. Sadly. Sadly for us. We can't compete with AI. You just cannot. You'll find that somebody who is not even trained, not even a trained doctor, not even a trained evaluator like myself, can actually conduct a whole evaluation or even do that laparoscopical surgery just using AI. So the advantages that we have as trained people is the fact that we have the theory behind it all, right? We've gone to school, you spend the time. So you spent the time in school. Um, so um, you have a little bit of extra, not a little bit, you have some valuable background information. I tell you, man, that thing is so sweet. Just look how it looks. Yellow. Yeah. So we have valuable background information that can help us make decisions. And on top of that, we also have experience. Nothing can replace experience, you people. Nothing. Don't put this hardcore. This hardcore, don't put it in here. Eat it instead. So our pineapple has gone in there. Cucumber, pineapple, and ginger and watermelon. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, one more thing I forgot to put in, which I need to put in, is mint. I have mint over here. Since I like mint a lot, I'll put, just a few leaves of mint. Yeah. Give it that flavor. Let's put some mint in there. Cover up and blend. And soon we'll be enjoying a very nice juice for breakfast. This thing has many settings, which is nice because it has, look, it has all these settings over here, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. This one, I guess, is just like for smoothies. You see? And this one, this is the highest setting. I don't know what this one is. No, that's just putting it on. Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. I tend to remove my appliances and put them back where they belong as quickly as possible so that they don't fall down, and especially when you have a little kitchen where you don't have a lot of space, you just have to keep removing your appliances, put them back where they're supposed to be, clean them up before they get all dirty and all that. I'm going to sieve it because I don't like the fibers. For myself, I don't like the fibers, and also it will be difficult for my mom to enjoy the drink when it has a lot of fibers. Yeah. So we're going to strain it as much as possible. This kitchen of mine is not the easiest, is it? Yeah. You have never seen the suffering I'm going through, you people, just trying to get you to see me straining this stuff. So when you take your elderly person for treatment, guys, in the hospital, make sure that the doctors are aware. You're not using doctors who don't ever check AI, they don't ever check the internet, they never do their research, These doctors, they really amazed me. They really, really amazed me. So it's not just the orthopedic surgeon, but it's also the person who puts the person down to sleep. The anesthetist. Yeah, the person who puts the person to sleep is very critical and very important. Very, very, very important. That person is your life or death person, It was supposed to be 1 hour surgery. It took about an hour and a half. And they did a good job because honestly, my mom. Today I have to go to work. How have you guys been doing other than that? Otherwise, how have you guys been doing? Yeah, you been okay? I always keep on checking to see how you're doing because they say that you should check on each other to make sure that people are okay because a lot of people are going through a lot right now. My clean container, as you know. So far we've made this much. And I want to taste it so that I tell you how it tastes. The deliciousness in here. No words, people. No words to describe the taste. Because it has... It's the oranges, the watermelon, the cucumber. The cucumber really added something to it. You know, because last time I made it with the pineapple, and you know pineapple can be tart, right? A little bit tart. But the cucumber has removed that edge of, you know, that thing that you feel back here. It has removed that. And because I don't like cucumber naturally, I don't really like cucumber. Yeah? I'm not a cucumber fan, I won't lie. Huh? So now I've discovered this is the way I'm going to be drinking my cucumber. I'll be drinking it instead of eating it. Yeah. Rarely, I don't like cucumber. I find it tasting weird. But I can see now how it has helped my juice to give it that more drinkable feeling. And then because I only put a little bit of ginger, can hardly even taste it. I'm just wondering what's making it so thick. It's nice and thick. I think maybe just the way we blended it up, maybe. This is work, you people, man. Kazi mingi. But the good thing is, you see, once you put it in the fridge, you know, once you make it in the morning, you just put it in the fridge. Whoever wants to come and drink, they will. Oh, I see. I know what made it thick. A little bit thicker is the bananas. And the bananas really have helped to give it that nice taste. Yeah. I'm just making sure that I'm leaving very little in here. This stuff is very good when you're baking cakes or making desserts. You can add it to your cake mixes. I think this is it. The last bit of it. Oh my God. They say you remove the nutrients that the nutrients disappear when you blend. I don't believe that's true, really. Not really. But there is already fiber even in the water. Even in the juice itself, there's still fiber in it. You may not see it with your naked eye, but it's there. So don't worry about blending. Blend and blend for your parents and blend for children, blend for kids. Blend, make juices for them. If they don't like fruits, make juices. Yeah, that's it. Even after all of that, I'm still gonna take my vitamins, calcium, magnesium, zinc. And I'm actually noticing there's a bit of a difference actually, yeah? I think with the calcium, CalMag zinc, what I'm doing is I'm taking it every other day. I'm not taking it every single day. But with B complex, because it's water soluble, yeah? Water soluble means it comes out in your pee, yeah? Every day. So B complex, there's some which are water soluble and some which are fat soluble vitamins. The fat soluble vitamins are vitamin D, E, but I really think that, you know, don't overdo vitamins. Don't overdo them. The water soluble ones are okay because they come out like C vitamins. Yeah, they come out in your pee. Want to wash dishes? Yeah, so I'm going to wash dishes and I always use gloves because of my nail polish. What's the point of doing nail polish and then on top of that now you start washing dishes like that? Use gloves. Protect your hands. Ladies, use gloves, when you're washing your dishes. Use gloves. But be careful because when you use gloves, when you use steel wool like this one, what I do is that you put this one first, yeah? You put this first and then you use like that. Put them together. These are life hacks, yeah? So you put this together like this so that you don't poke a hole in your gloves. Otherwise, this is the stuff that pokes holes in gloves, yeah? All right, guys, so lovely chatting with you. Today we have made juice. And I've talked to you a little bit about AI and the need for doctors to be, to be serious about reading and to be aware and knowledgeable about the use of AI and about the use of technology for doing medical procedures. It's important for doctors to continue reading and nurses as well. It's important for us as caregivers to ensure that our elderly people and the people we're caring for are comfortable. That if they're experiencing pain and using a walking stick, you don't just assume that it's just because of old age. It could be that they have a tear in their knee. It could be that, they need surgery to help them to walk comfortably. Like if you see my mom the way she's walking right now, you'll see future videos. I'm in shock. I mean, I want to check on her this morning and see. But yesterday she walked around the whole compound and she didn't even use her walking stick. So now we know that she was using a walking stick because she had a tear. And we saw the picture of that tear and it was very, 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 very painful. You imagine if a little piece of cartilage has torn off and is hanging in there in the water, in the fluid, yeah, in your knee. So as we are looking after elderly people, let us as carers work together with doctors and nurses and be there for your siblings, everybody together, because we all came together. Me, my brother, my sister, we came together and, helped each other with this because it's very nerve-wracking, very, very frightening, very super frightening because, you imagine that they might not wake up. But what I believe is that, you go with God. You have to make the decision on behalf of your parent. If your parent has a memory problem, memory loss, or anything, you have to make decisions for them. Try to make the right decisions, but do not deny them surgery. Do not deny them an opportunity to feel well, yeah? Just because of your own fear or because of their own fear, yeah? Try and encourage your parent to go under the knife. Yes, with an experienced doctor. They can use laparoscopical, non-invasive procedures to do surgeries, yeah? Even some of these surgeries are also used for IVF reversal. I had IVF, by the way, guys. I had in vitro I had an IVF procedure after having my last baby in my early 40s. Biggest mistake of my life. Then I wanted to reverse it. But in Kenya, it wasn't possible to reverse it using the non-invasive laparoscopical procedures, which is where they just poke a hole and then they put a camera and they, work on it that way without having to cut you. So after having gone through a C-section, the last thing you want is another C-section to open you all up, yeah? But right now, apparently, they are at Karen Hospital. The doctor told me that they're using it also for. You can now use laparoscopical procedures for what do you call that part of the body? Not the kidney, not for gallbladder. For some procedures anyway. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of that part. Let me see. Yeah, so they say that they can actually use laparoscopical procedures for appendicitis. If you have a problem with your appendix, maybe you need to have it removed or you need to have it sorted. They can use laparoscopical procedures, non-invasive procedures. Yeah, and apparently IVF reversal as well is possible now in Kenya. So if you want to have a baby after having IVF, you can actually go in and have it untied. You can have your tubes, reconnected so that you can have a baby. Yeah, because a lot of people, make decisions maybe when they're emotional and then you're not able to have a baby, or maybe you have a baby and the baby loses its life, like what happened to me. I decided to do it and then I lost the baby. I had a live birth and then the baby died like 5 days later. Meanwhile, I could not have another baby. That was the worst, biggest decision, worst decision of my life. I remember in the US when I had my baby, my first one, I was so upset. I was so traumatized because I was a single mom. I was so traumatized. I begged the doctor to tie my tubes so that I never have another baby again. I said, I only want to have this baby and no more, because I was alone through my whole pregnancy. I didn't have the support of his father, and I just never wanted to go through this procedure again. I was happy to have the baby. I love my baby, of course, but I didn't want to go through this again, ever again. I never wanted to be married. I never wanted to have a baby. That was it. I was done. And I told the doctor, please tie my tubes, even during the surgery, because I was awake. They did an epidural, so I was awake. I begged the guy, please tie my tubes. And he told me, no, you're too young. I can't do that. I was like 25 years old or 26 years old. Yeah? He said, no. Come back maybe when you're in your 40s or when you're, ready for that, but not now. Not when you're. And he totally refused. I was so mad with the doctor. But later on, I was actually happy because I got pregnant again, but I got pregnant in my 40s and I lost the baby. Okay. And that was the worst experience of my life. Doctors were also really upset that I'd lost this baby. They were encouraging me to have another one. Even in my 40s, because I was very, very strong. My body was strong. I was still able to have another baby. And I had the baby in 2010. Yeah, I had the baby in 2010. And right now it's 2025. The child would have been 15. So even if I had another baby 2 years later, the child would have been maybe 13, just like Maha, just like Joseph's daughter. Yeah? So that's why I'm saying that I'm not too old. Women, you are not too old to have children. You are not too old to have kids. You're not. As long as you're under 50, you can still have a child. You can still have a kid. It's okay. And especially when I went abroad, when you see people abroad, like you see women in their 40s giving birth. I don't know who told women. God is the one who decides when it's time for you to stop having children. Yeah? Don't allow society to dictate to you when you should have children and when you should not. Yes, there are more risks, but if you keep yourself healthy, and now with technology and all that, there's ways to check if your baby is healthy. There's also ways to check if you're healthy. And also, with all these laparoscopical surgeries and things like that, try to just make sure that you're in a vicinity of facilities that have all these procedures available. Again, yes, there are risks to things like Down syndrome, but even young people have children who have Down syndrome. So it also depends on how you've been keeping your body. If I remember in our villages, there are women in their 50s who are giving birth and their children are fine. Yeah, they never had any sort of problems. Yeah, so maybe the risks are higher, but it doesn't mean it will apply to you. So if you happen to be in your 40s and you still want to have a baby, I would encourage you, have the baby. Try and have the baby. Yeah, be very healthy. Work on your body, do exercise, and all that, but have the baby. Don't allow anybody to steal your joy. Don't allow anyone to steal your joy. Don't allow anybody to steal your dreams about having a child. Have the child. It's a good thing. Actually, having kids is so lovely. Do you know what it feels like for me to talk to my son? Do you know what it feels like for my sister to talk to her daughter? It feels fantastic. Yeah? That water is hot. Well, which is why it's good to have gloves on. Otherwise, I would be screaming right now. Yeah. So, that's one thing I thank God for my dad, because he was so smart. He was always putting, anywhere where there's a kitchen, there would always be a heater somewhere. And the heater is somewhere down here, So we don't have to use cold water. You don't also have to use the very big heaters to heat water. We always have hot water to wash dishes. Every time I think about my father, I just feel sad. So, but anyway, yeah, guys. So if you have a dream to have a child, go ahead and have the child. If you need surgery, go ahead and have surgery. Don't be afraid, so afraid. There are people who have had 10, 13, 14 surgeries. Talk to people who have been, who are going through, see the people who maybe have bone issues, yeah? Maybe developmental issues with their bones, children who go through so many surgeries and they're still alive. They're still here today. So many people, they delay surgery because they're afraid, but it's very important that you have the right surgeon and that person has a history of, that they have a good reputation. So, that's it. So thanks, guys. Thanks so much for your time. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. We will see you next time on another Mo Lifestyle show. All right. Doo-doos.